Rent is supposed to be only one part of your budget. But in 2025, for millions of Americans, rent has become the budget. From those itty bitty sneaky increases in your bill to people living in cars or even leaving the country altogether, the cost of housing is reshaping how we live today. And quite frankly, rent has become too high. So today we'll be reacting to real TikToks that show just how bad the rent crisis has gotten and why it's forcing people to make financial choices that they never imagined. And while you're watching, let us know down below if the rent increases have impacted your household budget or your goals in your hometown, because it is affecting all of us, myself included. So we all know what it's like to put in a full day of work. You know, you drive out, you battle the traffic, you clock in, you give your time, energy, you work your fingers all the way to the bone. Let me know if you know that reference. You give your time, your energy, and then at the end of the day, you really expect to feel like it was all worth your time. But in this next clip, you're gonna see a woman who worked a full 8-hour shift and she makes pretty decent money only to look at her wallet and realize she only has $10 left. And instead of being able to maybe, go get a little something off the dollar menu at McDonald's or go to the Dollar Tree, she can't even enjoy her little $10.
Boomers want to know what it's like being young in 2025? Here it is. I just got off an 8-hour shift at work where I make double minimum wage in my state. I hop in my car, check my banking app. Cool, I've got $50 to last me till next week. Then I remember, oh shit, I have to run to Walmart because the wire in my bra snapped. I don't have underwear because it keeps going missing. My eyelash curler broke, and I have no food. I bought 4 things. 4 fucking things, and it came out to $40! I'm living off granola bars. But I hop my depressed ass back in my car, and I look at my banking app again. Oh, cool, I've got $10 now to last me till next week. I try to drive, but my car keeps misfiring. I can't afford to fix that. So I keep on parking, turning off my car, turning it back on until it decides to act right. 30 minutes later, I'm finally heading home to my 4 roommates. I pay $8.50 a month. Now give them that's everything included, but $8.50 a month with 4 roommates. Remember back in the good old days when a man could afford to feed, raise, house his family on minimum wage? And he had a second family on the side who he also housed, fed, and raised. You know what I say to all that? Fuck you. You guys had it so fucking easy and then you destroyed everything behind you. You.
And so this is the perfect financial picture of what rent and the rising costs are doing to our wallets. So you can give your best all day long and still feel like you are running in place when it's the end of the day. And that's the frustration that so many people are carrying right now, myself included, because it's not about working hard enough. People are not lazy, but people are exhausted and they're showing up at these places of work, yet it does not feel like they have anything left to show for financially. So for context, financial experts say that your rent should take no more than 30% of your income. But let's be real, in cities like Atlanta, New York, and even some in California, it's now common for the rent to eat up at least 50% or more. Even after working full time, many of these households have no leftover income at all.
Landlords have lost their fucking mind in 2025. Husband and I are looking to relocate and I am actually appalled and I am so furious right now. As I'm looking for homes, I literally have several landlords saying like, I will not show you this home until you've already applied and approved. And the application fee is non-refundable and it's like $40 to $75 a person. But let me get this straight. You want me to pay you $150 and let you ding my credit report, even if it's a soft pull, just so that you will take the time to show me the apartment and let me decide if it's like fits my needs. So then I'm like, okay, let's pivot. Let's go to like a big, property, like the corporate route and see if they have like better customer service and a little more flexibility. And I'm like, okay, it's sounding good. You don't need like $3,000 in deposits. Here's my credit score. And they're like, yeah, we don't really go by credit score anymore. We go by DTI, the debt to income ratio. Y'all, I was in consumer lending and mortgage lending for about 5 years. That you use to decide if somebody can buy a home. My credit's good. I make my payments on time. I make like 4 times the rent. She's like, well, because like in this era, it's just so easy for people to like fake their check stubs. So now we're looking at DTI. Reason I don't want to own a home. I like the fact that like renting's easier, that my maintenance is covered, that amenities are covered. And now they're like, we want references. We want DTI. Y'all have lost your mind. And when I think about the fact that boomers didn't even have to have a credit score, they didn't even have to worry about that. Not to mention the complete income inequality we have suffered from their whole trickle down economics bullshit. It's not the fact that I won't be able to rent an apartment. I'm pretty sure I will find one. It's the fact that my husband and I make well over 6 figures combined. And this is how difficult it is. This is all the minutia. This is all the hoops to jump through, because a landlord cannot stand the idea that there could be a single possibility that they could have 1 month of rent missing that they were not anticipating. And all these private equity firms buying up everything from veterinarian clinics to homes to whatever else they know that we need to survive. I'm so sick of it. The last time I rented too, like you would not believe all of like the security verifications that I had to go through to like verify that my income was real. It's like, bro, just call my employer. But even that, it's like, well, a friend could be saying that like it's your employer, but it's really not. It's like, and the moon could fall from the heavens and the sky. Like at some point you have to take on risk. That's what being an entrepreneur is. You take on the risk, but you stand to gain a higher reward. I cannot believe like this is how it is to lease in 2025. And I know I sound like an old curmudgeon, but I am 39 years old and my first apartment was $550. I had no credit. And I cannot believe it's been a mere 20 years and rent has like quadrupled. And now they want people renting a little crappy apartment to go through the same procedures as buying a home.
So if you think of it financially, if maybe you pay $50 to $100 per application and you apply to 5 places, that's already $500 gone, and you didn't even secure your housing yet. You could have used that on boxes, movers, something. So according to these TikTokers, they feel like it's all a scam.
Now, I'm not the best at math, as y'all probably know from past videos, but make this make sense to me. I'm apartment hunting, right? And I'm looking some everywhere. Ended up coming across some condos that are income-based, right? But they're beautiful condos, beautiful townhouses / condos, beautiful, right? The rent for a 660 square foot house, 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, no appliances included, $1,400. No utilities included, no appliances included. You heard me correctly, $1,400. But you have to have an income max of $36,000 a year. Now, let's do the math, and I'll add this in because I'm just talking while I'm driving. 36,000 divided by 12 is what? Place it right there. And let's say rent is $1,400. So subtract that. Let's say water is like, I don't know. I use a lot of water. I've never had a water bill. Water is usually included. It was included in my last apartment, so I don't even know how much water costs. So let's just say water is like, I don't know, $20 a month. Internet is $80. That's how much it was when I had AT&T. So let's do $20. Let's do $80 minus. And DTE, which is heat and gas, whatever it's called. Let's say that's, I don't know, $50 a month. You ain't even ate yet. How much money you got left? What do you mean? How is the rent that high, but you still have an income max for one person? Max is $36,000 a year. 2 people, I think it was like $50. So you want people to be broke and still be able to afford $1,400 in rent with no utilities, and I have to go buy my own appliances? First of all, I don't qualify based on the income alone. But I still indulged in it because I made the appointment, so let me see. It didn't say online that it was income based, because I didn't say until I got in there and she said, I was like, oh, I'm here now, let's go look at it. But what the fudge? How you gonna be income based and you still pinch pocket my pockets, penny pinching my pocket? I don't know if any of that made sense because I'm sweating bullets because it just worked out, but I don't understand.
This hits the core issue that rent is unaffordable, but buying isn't any better. Between the down payments, the high interest rates, property taxes, and mortgage that you still have to pay, it outpaces the amount of rent, and it doesn't feel like it's the way out anymore. In fact, the average mortgage payment for new buyers in 2025 is often higher than the average rate of rent. And so families feel like they're trapped between two bad options. For many people, it feels like working hard, getting that degree, and then following the financial playbook still leaves you stuck at the same time. And I'll be real, I know what it's like. I've been there. When we were renting in New York, it almost broke us. So looking at the numbers and realizing that we were not making as much for the rent back then, and the rent was cheaper back then, we decided to take our family and move to a different area that was a lot more affordable. But even there, we realized that the cost of living still equaled out to how much we were paid. And that was on the good end. So even then, we felt like we were saving money, but we were still not getting paid as much as in New York. So yeah, we had to make the tough financial decision to leave the city and then move to different states just to be able to save some money. So it was not easy, but it did give us some breathing room before we moved yet again for a better quality of life. And so that's why these clips hit so hard for me, because I know what it feels like when the numbers are just not adding up, and they don't add up no matter how hard you work. And so when both renting and buying feel almost financially impossible, some people are being pushed into choices that nobody should ever have to make. So in this next clip, you're going to meet someone forced to live in their car because rent is just out of their reach.
Homeless living here in my car because I can't afford $1,800 for rent. That is the average price for a one-bedroom apartment in America today is $1,800. So I live here in my car full-time, and I actually just left.
If you guys saw the first part of the series, I mentioned that when I first started renting, I was paying for a one-bedroom apartment in New York City. This was about maybe 2016. And I was paying like $1,600. And even that was a lot at that time because I was not getting paid as much as I, could qualify. But yet I still qualified for the apartment. And that was a lot. Like I mentioned, that was a lot back then. But now it has more than doubled, tripled. That same apartment that I rented for $1,600, the next year, it jumped up to, I think, like 17 something. And thankfully, I left before it could jump up again. But later on, I checked to see, out of curiosity, to see how much it was listed for online. And it's way past double. Like, I don't understand how people are even rent. And the apartment was just a one-bedroom apartment. It wasn't 2-3 bedrooms. It was up on the third floor. The bedroom was spacious for a New York apartment, but still.
California, because I couldn't find opportunities, gas was going up, and things were just getting harder and harder there. So I live here in my car, and while I left California, I am still getting tons of comments about my cooler here. Over the past week, I have gotten over 100, believe it or not, over 100 comments about this cooler. People saying that I don't deserve it, you're homeless, you shouldn't have a cooler like that. Those coolers cost $500, even some people saying $700, which is simply not true. This was a gift for my 30th birthday last year. I did not buy this cooler. I did not pay for it out of my own pocket. A wonderful...
I'm just annoyed at the fact that the internet has such a voice behind the phones. How could you comment on his cooler? Like, does he not deserve to have a cooler in order to survive? Even if it is an expensive cooler, okay, fine. Let him have his cooler. Stop. Get out of his business. Ugh. That's why I don't like the internet. Even though I work on the internet, I don't like the internet because people just have so many opinions about lifestyles. They have no idea. You've never lived a mile. You've never walked a mile in his shoes. You've probably never lived in a car, but yet you have an opinion about the cooler that he's using and that he's not qualified to use the cooler. Are you kidding? Like, no, stop it now.
So fucking mad right now, like, for real. Like, I'm not the type of person who likes to come to the internet and cry and do too much, but I just need to vent real quick. Like, so I get approved for an apartment. I'm sure a lot of y'all saw it because I made a post as soon as they called me, and I was so happy. to get up out of my current situation, in my current account, in my current apartment, because I don't like it. Like, I hate it. And I work from home, so like the environment around me means so much to my day-to-day. Like, bitch, as people call me and tell me I'm approved, I'm like, okay, great. Like, I'm excited. I've started ordering stuff for my new apartment, throwing stuff away. Like, I'm just ready to make this move and this change in my life. I'm like, yeah, I'm ready to try this business. I can use this new spot to finally get some engaging, good content, something that somebody wants to click on. Like, but yeah, I'm all preparing myself. So I go down there yesterday to view the apartment. The one that they offered to me, I didn't like it. Like, it just was looking different than what I anticipated. So I asked them to make changes and to find me one that looked like what I toured. Like, it was the same building. There wasn't no difference in price. I just asked them to make that accommodation. They said they were going to do what they can and they was going to get back to me. So come today, I call up there to speak with the property manager. I telling her the situation and how the apartment is different, square footage is different, closet different. Like, I just want something that looks like what we toured. She said she's gonna look through to see what they have available and give me a call back, and I should hear back by the end of the day. She called me back at the end of the day just to tell me basically I'm overqualified for the apartment I want, right? So everywhere I've been applying to, and just for clarification, I live in Baltimore, Maryland. So everywhere I've been applying to, bro, it's either dirty as fuck and they overcharging you, or the places that aren't overcharging you, I don't make enough for, even if I can afford it or not, because I don't make 3 times the fucking rent. And then the spots that are kind of cool, but everything that's like private owned, you gotta have a 650 credit score. I don't have that. I just got out of school. I don't have that. Not to say I'm jealous, but if you have a parent that lets you stay at home, stay home. Stay home until you ready, make you want to unalive. Like, it will put so much pressure on you. Not to mention, they're looking for my entire check to go towards rent. They don't anticipate me eating. They don't anticipate me paying for medication. They don't anticipate my trash. Nothing. Nothing's taken into consideration. And I'm just so drained. Like, I'm so over it. I'm so done. And I know it's not the end of the fucking world, y'all, but I put so much hope and time into moving into this spot for them to tell me last minute that I don't even qualify for what they already offered me. 16 grand to put down on rent every month. Like, I don't have it yet. So I don't know. Engage, like with this video, but I'm done. I'm over this shit.
I think I have a theory that whatever apartment she looked at, it might have been where, oh, I forgot the term, but it's like rent. It's like specialized for low income. So you have to make a certain amount, and if you make more, then you cannot qualify. And I have experience with that because years ago, my husband and I, we were looking for apartments just after we left New York. And we found a few that were really nice, and they were all within the same management company. And so when we applied, we were denied basically because we made more than the amount. And so we were thinking, okay, how could you get denied if you make more? Wouldn't that be a great thing for them if you make more than 3 times the rent? But those type of apartments were specialized for and I forget the term, but it's more so for low income. So there's like a cap as far as how much you could make in order to qualify for that apartment. So I think she was going for that, and they really make those apartments out to look really beautiful in certain areas. So I'm really sad that that's something that she dealt with, but hopefully she found something even better than what she toured. And the emotional toll is just as heavy as the financial toll. So this is not just about numbers on a page, but it's mental health, it's stability, and also the dignity in knowing that you have a safe place to live. So here's a question for you. Would you ever consider downsizing to a car or a van just to be able to escape some of these rent costs? Or maybe you have thought of it already. Please let us know. Drop your thoughts down below in the comment section. So in this next set of clips, you're gonna see a completely different response. Instead of moving into a car, some people are packing up their bags and they are leaving the country altogether. And you will be surprised how they are living.
So I live in China, and the United States is not real, because what do you mean? What do you mean we can get a 4-bedroom apartment with a big kitchen? Look how big this kitchen is. Look how big this kitchen is. Literally.
Oh, that's cute. That looks like some like high-rise apartment somewhere in Atlanta. Like, cute. For $1,000. $1,000.
This big old kitchen for only $1,000 a month. Like, this place is huge. Don't mind all the stuff we're cleaning right now, obviously, because you gotta clean the place before you move in. But look at this. 4 bedrooms, 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is the master bedroom. Like, are you kidding? With 3 bathrooms, by the way. 1, 2, 3. The last one is in the master bedroom. So if you think that living abroad isn't lit, I don't know what to tell you. But we're about to furnish this whole place. So if you don't follow our Passport Visions page, make sure you follow our other page. But I'll be posting updates here too. So make sure you guys stay tuned and stay live.
Someone said that would be $46 million in New York, and that is true, okay? Because that has all of the different finishes. It's got the marble. It looks modern. It looks like they just renovated it. It looks like maybe a brand new apartment for $1,000. That is insanity. Like, you could not find $1,000 anywhere unless you wanted to rent someone's spare closet in the US, but out there with $1,000, that's amazing. I love that for her. Let me know down below if you would consider moving outside of the country to be able to save your coins, right? So just because of the music playing, I'm not sure if it's copywritten music, but I will mute it and put other music, but she's got subtitles so you can kind of read along with it. That's cute. Look, I love when Black women are able to live and thrive and feel and actually live that soft life that we're talking about so much in America. But you're able to live it somewhere else, and you don't have to think about your finances as much. That is the ultimate goal.
Here are just a few reasons on why you should consider moving to Vietnam. First up is the cost of living. Now, Vietnam is arguably one of the most affordable places to live in the entire world, and honestly, you get a lot of bang for your buck. So if you stay in one of the cities like Ho Chi Minh, Da Nang, Hanoi, you can get an apartment like this for anywhere between $500 to maybe $600 a month with all utilities included. And I even made a video of me going to get coffee and eating out 3 times in one day.
All utilities included? Listen, I'm excited. I love that. And it looks like a little swanky hotel.
I only spent $10 US, which gives you a little perspective on how much you'll actually spend. When it comes to activities, most stuff in Vietnam is either free or super affordable. And even if you want to do something luxury, I went on this all-inclusive 3-day luxury cruise in Ha Long Bay, and they picked me up from my hotel and dropped me off, and it only cost me $200. It included everything from the suite, the transportation, the activities, excursions, food, everything. Even miscellaneous expenses like getting a manicure and a pedicure, going to the gym, or even getting my hair done. And my hairstylist even does house calls, and I was able to call her last minute on a Sunday, and she was able to come to my house and do my hair for only $90 USD, and that included the tip and the travel expense.
Listen, I love the retwist. All right, you can get a retwist in Vietnam. Listen, because I always kind of think, when I see things like this, I think, oh wow, what about the fact that there's such a culture shock? Like, it's a different culture out there. What if you can't speak the language? You don't understand anyone. You don't quite fit in. He found someone right there who's able to do his retwist, and she was another Black queen. I love that. I'm sure there's like a whole community out there of what they call expats, people who are from America who have lived abroad in that specific country. Love that. Okay.
I've made several videos on why people should consider moving to Bali, and honestly, I have to say that Southeast Asia is so broad and there are so many options, you would be doing yourself a disservice if you didn't consider moving to places like Vietnam. The food is arguably some of the best in the world and my personal favorite. The people are nice, friendly, welcoming, and honestly, they really make sure you're taken care of. And there's so many people from all around the world that have decided to move here for various reasons, and the culture is just fantastic. 10 out of 10. But yeah, let me know down in the comments, would you consider moving to Vietnam, or do you have anywhere else that you would consider moving?
The contrast is real from America to these other places. $1,000 in China can get you a spacious, modern apartment. In Thailand, $500 gets you a 1-bedroom with pools and a gym. And then in Vietnam, you can live comfortably for $600 each month. So that's way less than maybe a quarter of what people are paying for the average rent in many of these US states. So financially, it is life changing. But of course, moving abroad, it's not going to be a realistic option for everyone because there are family, work, visas. Those things can make it more complicated. But the fact that more and more people are even considering it does show how financially broken housing feels here in America. And so this next clip shows it's not just individuals, but it's entire communities that are being impacted. So Atlanta used to be known as the Black Mecca, but now corporations are now buying up properties and pushing the people that built that community out. So this one is especially important because Atlanta has long been known as the Black Mecca. It's a city where a lot of Black families, Black professionals, and even entrepreneurs could not just live, but also thrive in a place. But now these corporations are buying up different properties because they see the value, and then rent is climbing so fast that the very people who built up those communities are now being priced out little by little. So it's not just individuals that are being squeezed, but it's wealth, it's culture, and it's even history that's now being pushed out too. So financially, this means that entire generations are losing access to affordable housing and also the chance to build long-term stability.
I just paid rent and bought groceries. Ain't shit funny right now. Like, when we gonna talk about rent control for real in Atlanta? Because it's getting outrageous. It really is. My rent increase was implemented this month, and I'm pissed off. I'm not gonna lie. My rent only went up $120, but I'm mad as hell. I pay over $2,000. I pay over $2,000 for rent. No, some motherfuckers don't even make $2,000 in a month, and I pay that in just rent. And no, that's not a flex because I am happy I'm able to afford it, and I'm happy I'm able to give my kids stability and comfortability. But the dream of home ownership, I feel, is no longer attainable. People act like, oh, just go buy a house. With what money? Damn townhouses in Atlanta start at $300,000, $400,000 for a townhouse.
If you live in Atlanta, please chime in. Is it like that? Because that's insane. I mean, with that money, you could move out. I mean, not to, bring Texas all the time, but you could come here with that money and buy a 2-story home that's got over 2,000 square footage. I'm just saying. So for a townhome to be that expensive, I can't imagine a home.
I'm over here saving money that I don't have to be able to give my kids something, which forces me to be broke right now so they can have money later. And then it's pride. You going outside? I don't know if I'm going outside. I just spent $1 billion for 30 days. I don't know if I'm going outside this weekend. Golly.
No, we're staying home and enjoying our rent. We are staying home to enjoy our rent. Our electricity has been paid, gas, water, lights, phone, internet. Yeah, staying home. That's what I do a lot of these days. Like, no, I'm not going anywhere. Like, even gas, like every time you turn around, you got to feed the gas. I put $30 in that gas, and that will last me some time because I barely make it outside of the house. But my God, no, like everything costs money. Everything costs money. And then you have to think about eating. And when you bring children out with you, they're always asking you for food. So you have to have money to feed them. And even spending money at these fast food places have become way more expensive than it used to be. So yeah, I'm staying home. When landlords treat housing like Wall Street stocks, Regular people are the ones who are losing, because housing should be about financial stability and shelter, but instead it's being treated almost like a profit machine. So I know that this has been a crazy ride of a video, but just know this, that you are not alone in this financial squeeze. That's why I do these videos. All across the country, people are finding different creative ways to cope with today's time. So whether that be creating a side hustle or taking on a remote job so you have the flexibility to move, or even sharing struggles online to show that we're not crazy. So that's why I will keep on bringing you guys both the reality of what's happening here in America, as well as the opportunities out there, the remote work, the freelancing, and even the ways that you can create a side hustle to make money for yourself and even strengthen your financial foundation. So guys, what are your thoughts on today's video? Have today's rising rent costs changed maybe some of your financial goals, maybe your living situation, or even your ability to save? Let us know down below in the comments section. And also, if you missed out on the last episode of this series where we covered the 300,000 Black women who have recently been laid off and without a job, and Tabitha Brown's message about getting a job. It was a whole situation, but I'll link it here in the description box, the pinned comments, and the screen as well. And yeah, if this video spoke to you, please go ahead and feel free to share with someone so you can start a little bit of a conversation, pick their brains, see what they think about it, and subscribe so that you don't miss out on the next part of this series. Thank you guys for watching, and we will chat in the next video.